Hello there. Brussels is having a few tussles with its member states while trying to get its budget for 2021 to 2027 sorted out. Oh, and it seems to have tripped itself up over Brexit too. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. And a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. The EU desperately needs to sort its budget out before the end of the year, or it will be forced under EU law to extend the existing budget until such time as they do agree to one, with some quite severe repercussions. And the EU Commission seems to have jumped the gun on the legal action it's taking against the UK over Brexit. You won't want to miss that one. Now, as I understand it, not agreeing a budget would mean no coronavirus rescue package for the EU and no €5 billion Brexit fund to help those affected. And what are the main issues surrounding their non-agreement to a budget? Well, it seems that those member states with the money do not like the idea of those without the money receiving free cash or cheap loans with no strings attached. They want to ensure that countries like Poland and Hungary fall into line with EU rule of law requirements, so they want any budget money allocated to those countries to come with all sorts of prerequisites for political reform included. But due to the requirements for unanimity, they also need Poland and Hungary to agree to those conditions being in the budget. And unsurprisingly, Poland and Hungary weren't happy about that. So Brussels attempted to water down the rule of law requirements in the budget, and as a result, 9 member states including Sweden, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Austria, Luxembourg and the Netherlands have rejected those proposals as too weak. Now, Article 2 of the Lisbon Treaty says, "The Union is founded on the values of respect for human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law and respect for human rights, including the rights of persons belonging to minorities. These values are common to the member states in a society in which pluralism, non-discrimination, tolerance, justice, solidarity and equality between men and women prevail." And to allow enforcement of Article 2, Article 7 lays out a procedure where, after a process for calling a recalcitrant member state to task, the Council, acting by a qualified majority, may decide to suspend certain of the rights deriving from the application of the treaties to the member state in question, including the voting rights of the representative of the government of that member state in the Council. In doing so, the Council shall take into account the possible consequences of such a suspension on the rights and obligations of natural and legal persons. The obligations of the member state in question under this treaty shall in any case continue to be binding on that state. But many in the EU think that this is too weak. So, with doubts over the democratic credentials of some member states like Poland and Hungary, as well as Romania, Croatia and Slovakia, other member states wanted the budget system changed to give rule of law enforcement some extra oomph. But, with the risk of the budget being voted out, the EU Commission watered all of that down in its budget proposals, meaning that the EU presumably won't, as a whole, be living up to its own requirements under Article 2. But in the meanwhile, the EU needs to get its budget through to get the pandemic relief package rolling. And as I said, that means unanimity amongst the EU 27. Talk about a catch-22. Now, were the UK still a member state, I wonder which way the Remainers would have wanted the UK to vote here. To get the money, including the rescue package, sorted now and leave the rule of law aspects for a later date, or to insist on the political and democratic agenda and have a frozen budget. But thankfully, we in the UK don't need to care about that anymore, do we? But this is not the only area where Brussels seems to have a foul up on its hands. Do you remember when Brussels sent the UK a threatening letter because of the withdrawal agreement busting clauses in the UK Internal Market Bill? Yes, about 3 weeks ago they threatened legal action, with the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen saying at the time, "We had invited our British friends to remove the problematic parts of their draft Internal Market Bill by the end of September. This draft bill is, by its very nature, a breach of the obligation of good faith laid down in the withdrawal agreement. Moreover, if adopted as is, it will be in full contradiction to the protocol on Ireland and Northern Ireland. The deadline lapsed yesterday. The problematic provisions have not been removed. Therefore, this morning the Commission has decided to send a letter of formal notice to the UK government. This is the first step in an infringement procedure." The trouble is that a UK bill is not law until it gets royal assent and becomes statute law. Until then it is a proposal, a nothing. So a bill does not break EU law and is undoubtedly unactionable. Not only that, even when enacted, the new act would not break EU law until the UK government used it. But further, it seems that by sending a formal letter to start legal proceedings, the EU Commission may have stumbled over its own rules. Brussels sent us that letter on the 1st of October, the start of a process to take the UK to the ECJ and heap down huge fines on us. But it seems that the ECJ has already set a precedent with an earlier ruling that would squash this EU Commission-driven action. According to Professor Richard Lang, a senior law lecturer at Cardiff Metropolitan University, the ECJ made an order in 2000 that stopped something similar when the EU Commission tried to take enforcement action against the Netherlands over some draft oyster regulations. Professor Lang said in an article for the German website Verwassenblog called "A Draft is No Infringement, Why the EU Commission's Action Regarding the Internal Market Bill is Inadmissible," that in an order from 2000, the court made it clear that draft measures may not be the object of infringement proceedings, and also that a letter of formal notice must allege a prior failure by the member state concerned to fulfil an obligation owed by it. And he also said that this order is still good law and has been referred back to in a handful of subsequent cases in various different contexts. As one of the Advocates General helpfully put in a proceeding against France, the infringement action is not a progressive procedure but a repressive one. And Professor Lang ends with, "A breach only occurs once the Internal Market Act, as it would then be, receives royal assent with that provision intact, and, with second reading in the Lords only having just begun on the 19th of October, this has clearly not happened yet." So Brussels has got ahead of itself on this one and has nowhere to go with it until the UK actually does something that they can claim is a breach of the rules. Talking to the Express, Professor Lang said, "The EU has jumped the gun in bringing this lawsuit against the UK's Internal Market Bill. As things stand, the European Commission's lawsuit is unlawful, and it is unlikely that the Court of Justice would allow it to continue." Does sound like the EU has got its hands full at the moment, doesn't it? Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, why not buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.